This is the Maserati Ghibli Trofeo, and it's a little bit like watching a box set of The Sopranos. Because it might seem a bit dated, but it should still be pretty exciting. And in this video, I'm going to find out if it is. Because I'm Matt Watson, and you're watching Carwow. Buy, sell, Carwow. Let's start off this video by talking about the main reason why you would buy this car, and it's that engine. Now, it looks very red, and there's a reason for that. It's because this is based on the engine that you get in the Ferrari Portofino and the Roma. It has been designed by Maserati, and they've made some changes to it. For instance, instead of a flat plane crank, it has a cross plane crank, which means that this engine doesn't quite res so high as it does in the Ferraris. Also, the capacity of the Ferrari engines are 3.9 litre. Here, it's 3.8 litre. But it still has twin turbos, and of course, it's a glorious V8. Now, power. This thing puts out 580 horsepower and 730 newton meters of torque, and it drives the rear wheels via an 8-speed automatic gearbox. However, unlike in the Ferraris, where they use dual-clutch automatic gearboxes, this is a torque converter gearbox. So what does that do to the performance? I think it's time to launch this thing. This car is supposed to do 0 to 60 in 4.3 seconds, which incidentally is a whole second slower than a BMW M5 Competition does it in. Only that car is actually quicker than BMW claims. Will this one be quicker than Maserati claims? Bet it's not. Anyway, let's launch it into drive. Pull on the left pedal. Launch control. Pull on the left pedal again to say yes, I do want it. Give full brake pedal. There we go, more brake, there we are. Flooring the brake, floor the throttle, you click go. Oh, bit of wheel spin. What are we gonna do? Oh, we got a speed warning exceeded. Well, there we go, 0 to 60, 4.38, quarter mile, 12.51, 4.38, with a little bit of tyre spin. They're not lying about the numbers. I might give it one more go, just cause. Was that better? Yeah, we did it! It's quicker than Maserati claim. 0 to 60, 4.29. And quarter mile, 12.41. Yeah, does the numbers. Can't complain. Just not as quick as a BMW M5 Competition, Audi RS6, Mercedes E63S, or Porsche Panamera Turbo S. Shut up. There is one thing I want to try. Is that launch control procedure completely pointless? Let's find out. So here we go, one last time, but I'm not going to go through launch control. I'm just going to floor the brake, give it some throttle. Oh, that's not going to be as good. Sorry, Maserati, for doubting you and your launch control. It does manage the traction. Did a 4.6 to 60 and a 12.67 standing quarter mile. There was me being all doubting, being all know-it-all. That launch control does a job, and it's all about managing the traction, which it actually does really, really well. And for all of you Americans watching, just so you know, the times that I run were with no foot rollout. So if you're saying, well, an American title did a slightly quicker time, that might be why. To cope with all the extra performance, Maserati has fitted the Trofeo version of the Ghibli with some upgraded brakes. Here at the front, you have 380mm discs gripped by 6-piston calipers. At the rear, you have 345mm discs gripped by 4-piston calipers. Let's put them to the test. Now I'm going to do a brake test from 100 miles an hour, but I'm also going to measure it from 60 miles an hour, so I get both distances. Let's see how long it takes this big thing to stop. Let's get up to the 100. Here we go, full braking. So it took 94 meters to stop from 100 and 34 meters to stop from 60. And that 34 from 60 is actually pretty blooming good, you know, for a big car like this. The Trofeo has some key exterior visual upgrades over the standard Ghibli. For instance, you get some vents in the bonnet. There's also carbon fibre elements here, and the front splitter is made from carbon fibre. Moving down the side, you have alloy wheels that start at 20 inches and you can upgrade to these optional 21s. Plus, you get painted brake calipers. You also get red in these air vents on the side and the Trofeo logo. Moving to the rear, there's not many changes here. The main one is this. You have a carbon fibre rear diffuser. Really, this is a bit of a Q car. Some minor visual changes that most people who don't know what they're looking at won't spot. And is that what you want from a car that costs £121,000? It will be for some people, but for others, not so much. Anyway, if you're thinking about buying a new car, you probably need to sell your current car, and you can do it through carwow. It's dead easy. All you have to do is upload some photos of your car, give a brief description, then dealers all across the country will bid on your car. Just pick the highest offer, the dealer will come to your house, put the money in your account, and take the car away. It's simple. If you want to do that now, just click on the pop-out banner up there or follow the link in the description below. Alternatively, you can do it at a later date by simply Googling "Help Me Carwow" and we will help you sell your car. Here on the inside, the design is a little bit dated, but the infotainment system does seem more modern and it's quite quick and the graphics are sharp. There's loads of leather absolutely everywhere. You can get the Trofeo with the carbon fibre pack for £1,650. You get carbon fibre on the centre console, on the door trims, for the paddle shifters and on the sills. Trofeo also gets these sport seats with Trofeo embossed into the headrest. Not so sure about the pattern on the seats, sort of reminds me of garden furniture. There's a massive array though of interior trim options. One of my favourite things though, the aluminium pedals. Just seem premium and sporty. What's less sporty is this rather phallic gear selector. That's enough of that. Here in the back seats, the feeling of luxury continues. Once again with the leather, 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 leather. It feels expensive. We've also got the carbon fibre inlays here as well. What's not so good though is this. Knee room is pretty tight, especially compared to the knee room you get in the Mercedes E63 AMG. And to see my full in-depth video review of that car, just click on the pop-out banner up there or follow the link in the description below. The Ghibli Trofeo has the exact same boot capacity as every other Ghibli. So that's 500 litres of luggage space, which is all right, though it is slightly less than that of its key German competitors. And that brings me on to 5 annoying things about the Maserati Ghibli Trofeo. Because the steering wheel is offset to the left quite badly, it means that depending on where you have your driving position, this part of the steering wheel's rim can actually block the rev counter from 4,000 revs all the way to the red line. So the bit that you really need to be able to see. The car's key is really heavy, which in some ways, it's a good thing because it makes it feel expensive, but it's a bad thing when it comes to carrying it around in your pocket because it's just a little bit weighty. Unlike with some other high-performance saloons, there is no individual driving mode where you can set up the parameters exactly as you want them, be that the suspension, the traction control, and the drivetrain. You can get close, but if you're in Corsa mode, then the car decides exactly how things should be. This car costs almost £120,000, so you'd think that you get adaptive cruise control as standard, but oh no. You don't. You have to pay extra for the driver assistance package, which is £2,900. It's a bit of a shame that this car has a soft limiter, so you can't fully enjoy the aural delights from that Ferrari built V8. It's not the worst soft limiter, but it's still there. Look, it holds it at 5,000 RPM, so. You think it's going to be good? You think it's going to be real good? And then you try to ping it off the red line and this happens. Yeah. It's not all negative though. Here's 5 good things about this car. The Ghibli Trofeo has a limited slip differential, which makes it easier to just mess around like that. Oh, hello. This car is faster than all its key competitors because it can break through the 200-mile-an-hour barrier. In fact, it tops out at 203 miles an hour, and you get that top speed as standard. For instance, with the BMW M5 Competition, it can only do 190 miles an hour, and that's when you paid extra to de-restrict it from the limited top speed of 155. Go Italy! Not only does this car have frameless windows like some sports coupe, it also has soft close. That's standard. According to Maserati, this car will return 22.4 miles per gallon. It's not especially great, but when our delivery driver brought it here for us to film, he managed 22.3 miles per gallon. So, pretty accurate. However, since I've been driving it on track and hooning it around and stuff, this is what I've got. I've got 9.1 miles to the gallon now. I blame my heavy right foot. This car may be all about the performance, but they haven't forgotten about luxury. For instance, I'm getting a little bit hot from the sun. Thankfully, I have this, a rear sunblind. Oh, shade. Okay, let's see how this thing drives. Starting off in Corsa mode, which means maximum attack. The dampers are in their firmest setting, and we've got reduced stability control. Hopefully it's going to be all right. The engine, I mean, it doesn't feel quite as bonkers as in a BMW M5 CS, but it delivers good performance. I can feel that the front end on this car does just want to run wide, so you have to make sure that you're trail braking really to really get the weight over the nose. Let's try it here. That's better. And then it'll start to rotate. Yeah, there we go. Wait a minute. This feels like old school fun. The car was just, oh my gosh. You can really control it on the throttle. Do you know what I hate though? You might have noticed me doing it there. I don't think the paddle shifters are quite long enough. I was turning, reaching for a gear, and I was getting nothing because I was just grabbing at air. I hate it when they're mounted on the steering column, but they're not long enough. I am mildly pleased with how this thing handles. Everything's gone four-wheel drive. This is rear-wheel drive, and it's the only way you can have it. And it is just a little bit loose, playful, but it seems entirely progressive and friendly. I'm also surprised at the damping. Even in this firmest setting, I thought it would be a little bit harsh over the cracks, but it's not. You can drive this thing on the throttle. Not gonna lie, I'm enjoying it way more than I thought I would. Almost outbrake myself there. I really enjoyed that. I can smell the brakes a bit though. They are starting to whiff. I think this brake pedal might get overly long if you get too carried away, but let's just coast for a bit, let the brakes cool down. I'm going to go into sport mode and put the dampers in soft. See what that's like. Now I've got more traction control, so it'll probably be a little less tail happy, but let's have a go. So instantly I can feel the car is softer. Actually, it's got a real nice ride quality to it. Deals with the bumps very well, much smoother than something like a BMW M5 Comp or an Audi RS6 or a Mercedes E63 AMG. Not gonna lie, I am not the biggest fan of the Ghibli, but this, woohoo! It really does just rotate. Do you know what? This sounds a bit odd, but I think this car is proof that, you know, all the stats in the world, headline figures, performance figures, all that kind of stuff don't necessarily add up to more fun. This car is definitely good fun. I'm enjoying the engine as well, and it's not bonkers quick, but it's plenty quick enough. Gear changes as well. You know, it's a ZF 8-speed torque converter auto, like you get in the BMW M5, and the shifts are fast enough. Good on the upshift, bit slow on the downshift, but absolutely fine. Definitely worth running it in manual mode when you want to play around. You just sort of float it into the bends. And it's definitely set up for quick road driving this. It might run out of ideas on a track if you get too extreme with it, but on the road, this is a nice, fun car. I'm surprised. And quite won over by it. Right, let's see what this is like to drive as a daily. So I've got it in its normal setting, so the suspension is in its softest setup. Also the engine note is a bit muted. I'm just cruising around. I've I've got in auto mode for the gearbox, all very relaxing. The gearbox does a good job of blending the gears together. The brakes, they're smooth, progressive, not grubby at all. The suspension, considering this is the performance model, extremely good over bumps. Only occasionally does it feel a little bit jarring when you hit very sharp bumps, but it's a very minor complaint. Now let's see what it's like when you get up to speed. So let's say I'm doing almost 40, here we go, 40 miles an hour, floor it. Slight pause for kick down, then you're off, and look at that. Effortless, all the way to 70. And when you're cruising at 70, hardly any wind noise at all. Just a bit of noise from those big tyres on the road. Very relaxing car. Plus, visibility is great. Forwards, at the mirrors, and you've got a big back window. It's quite a nice car to just cruise around in. So then, what's my final verdict on the Maserati Ghibli Trofeo? Should you avoid it? Should you consider it? Should you shortlist it? Or should you just go right ahead and buy it? Well, I reckon you should consider it. In some ways, on paper, it's really off the pace compared to its competitors, but there's just something a bit unique and lovable about it. Anyway, I hope you'll enjoyed the video. If you did, give it a like. Let me know what you think of my verdict in the comments below. Click on those windows there to watch some more videos, and on that box there to go to Carwow to sell your car the easy way. Thanks for watching.